Here's that House Republicans are already looking at ways to cut Medicare and Social Security. Not surprising. In the HuffPost, Freedom Caucus Republicans have been demanding that House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy get to work on cutting government spending. That's right. One of their demands, in order to have them vote present for him being Speaker and allow him to assume the speakership, is that he promised to cut spending. Now, there's a lot of different ways to cut spending. You could end subsidies to giant corporations. You could end oil subsidies, giveaways to the rich, corporations. You could cut military contracts to the defense industry, which are worth billions and billions of dollars. There's plenty of money to be saved there without hurting average people. But we are talking about the Republicans here. So do you think they're going to cut the military? You think they're going to cut defense spending? No, not even Democrats cut the defense spending. You think Republicans are going to? No, of course not. If you believe that Republicans were serious about cutting defense, they're outflanking the squad from the left on military spending, you're an idiot. We're lied to. There's no way they're going to cut defense spending. As I said before, both parties always give way more to the defense industry, the military industrial complex. They always give more than they need, because look, for the military industrial complex, it's never enough. $800 billion, $900 billion. At some point in the future, I'm going to be reporting on, we have hit $1 trillion to the Pentagon. Anyway, in fact, here's what they do want to cut, though, in order to achieve their cutting spending goals, right? They want to get rid of things that help average people. In fact, here's Representative Michael Waltz during an interview on Fox Business being asked, are you guys actually going to cut military spending?
Congressman, should military spending cuts be on the table and put on the table by a Republican?
Well, look, I agree with Jim Jordan that we are going to carve out woke policies out of the military. We are going to look at the out-of-whack ratio of generals. I invite him to come on the Armed Services Committee and work with us on that. But Stu, and by the way, I'm all for a balanced budget. We've got to get spending under control, but we are not going to do it on the backs of our troops and our military, when at the same time we're talking about China is the greatest threat. We're going to have a select committee on China. They're tripling their nuclear arsenal. Iran is racing towards a nuke. North Korea is about to launch an ICBM. Russia is on the march. And oh, by the way, we still have a global terrorist state now in Afghanistan, thanks to Joe Biden. So this is, I mean, we can work on prioritizing defense spending, but that's really nibbling around the margins. Okay. If we really want to talk about the debt and spending, it's the entitlements program.
Of course. There they are. Basically, this guy's like, we should get rid of the woke program. What woke programs? Are you kidding me, right? Oh, we got woke programs. We're going to get rid of that. But also cut the military. Look at all these things that you should definitely be afraid of. Oh, China, Iran, we got all these. Oh, Russia, on the march. Be fair. They did march right into Ukraine. And I'm not saying that there aren't concerns for national security, but holy crap. We spend more than every other country combined on national defense. We can actually afford to cut some waste and fraud from the military budget, which I'm sure is full of. So fear, be afraid. Also, look at that rogue global terror state of Afghanistan. Really? Global terror state? No, look, Afghanistan, the Taliban there is terrorizing somebody. It's their own people. It's women in their country. And that's horrifying. And look, again, we kind of knew that was going to happen. That's horrible to see. But at the same time, are they threatening other countries? Are they attacking other countries? Are they attacking their neighbors? Are they a global terror state? No. But again, this is all, oh, we need to be so afraid of all these things. And then the wokeness. So obviously we can't cut the military. No, what we have to do is cut your Social Security, Medicare. Yes, that's what we have to do. That's where the real savings are going to come from. Yes, oh yes. Here's the thing. Social Security is not paid for by the government. Paid for by you. It's your money. You're working for it. And it gets taken out of your paycheck, put into a trust so that you can get it later. That's it. It doesn't have an impact on the debt. But it doesn't matter. Facts don't matter. And that said, when you ask them, oh, are you gonna go after Social Security? They deny it, but kind of. Here's Representative Chip Roy saying, quote, what we have been very clear about is we're not going to touch the benefits that are going to people relying on the benefits under Social Security and Medicare, Roy said on CNN's State of the Union. But we all have to be honest about sitting at the table and figuring out how we're going to make those work, how we're going to deal with defense spending, and how we're going to deal with non-defense discretionary spending, which again is basically anything that goes to help average people, food stamps, Medicaid, things like that. So basically, anyone on it right there, right now, which is a large amount of the Republican base, by the way. Republicans have said, we're not going to touch it for you, so you can keep voting for us. But we are going to cut it for everybody else. In fact, the Republican Study Committee had proposed a budget for fiscal 2023 that would gradually increase the eligibility age for Social Security and Medicare and change the Social Security benefit formula for people 54 and younger while not changing it for people closer to receiving benefits. So basically, you're almost there. You've worked, you're 54 years old. Okay. We're gonna mess with the formula and we're gonna raise your retirement age. You're screwed. But for those who, are already on it, who vote for Republicans, well, we're not gonna touch it. You're our base. And to be fair, generally, older people are the Republican base. They skew more conservative. They skew more Republican. And so there you go. They plan to cut it in a way that specifically screws over younger generations. If you're 50, you get less, even though you still paid into that system for a significant period of your working life. They're robbing you of money that you paid in. And it's what they have always planned to do. And so it works out perfectly because they still get the votes from older people, older conservative Americans who are on Social Security and Medicare because their stuff's not going to get touched, allegedly. And how can you really take their word on that? But for everyone else, nah, you're screwed. Now, that said, the Senate, we still have a Senate that is Democrat controlled. They're going to likely stop this, obviously. But if and when Democrats do cave, then I believe that is definitely possible because if Republicans hold the debt ceiling hostage and cause us to possibly default on our debt in exchange for some sort of, deal that would cut Social Security, do you see the Democrats holding strong? There's some definitely who will, people like Bernie Sanders, is it guaranteed? But when it comes to crashing the economy by defaulting on the national debt, that's a potent weapon. Do you think House Republicans wouldn't try to do that? To use that to take these hostages? Oof. This could get very, very bad.